Definition.
Thanks for making KRTV your choice for news at 5:30. I'm Tim McGonigal.
And I'm Shannon Newth. The primary election narrowed the field of city commission and mayoral candidates here in the Electric City.
However, the campaigning is far from over as the remaining candidates vie for votes. The general election will be held November 3rd when voters make the final decision on who will govern the city. For the office of mayor, Commissioner Bob Kelly is running against incumbent Mayor Michael Winters, who is in his third term. Mayor Winters says the city is on the right track and hopes to continue, but Commissioner Kelly thinks the city needs to do more to move forward.
Over the past 6 years, I've certainly demonstrated my leadership, sound decision making. I think the course we're on right now is a course of recovery. It's a course of future growth, and I'd like to be part of that future growth.
We need to bring in more community partners into our meetings every couple weeks so that we hear from different parts of the community. We need the outreach. We need to go out and aggressively market Great Falls, not only to each other, but to the outside world, different parts of the state.
Now, as for City Commission, 4 remaining candidates are facing off for 2 commission seats. Bill Bronson is the only incumbent commissioner in the mix. He's running against candidates Tracy Houck, Rick Tryon, and Don Petrini. Leading up to the general election, we'll take the time with all the candidates before you cast your vote.
Attorneys are making final preparations to argue the appeal of a Kalispell woman convicted of murdering her newlywed husband by pushing him over a cliff in Glacier National Park. Federal prosecutors initially charged Jordan Lynn Graham with first-degree murder for pushing husband Cody Johnson over a cliff at the loop off the Going to the Sun Road in July 2013. During her trial the following winter, Graham accepted a prosecution plea agreement for second-degree murder but tried unsuccessfully to withdraw the plea after prosecutors argued for a maximum sentence, saying there was premeditation. Defense attorney Michael Donahoe has accused prosecutors of changing their depiction of what happened when Graham and Johnson argued on the cliff. The case was filed with the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, and now the court has scheduled oral arguments for November 3rd in Portland. It's expected to be several months after those arguments before the justices make a ruling in Graham's case.
We have new video to show you from Showdown, Montana of snow coming down today. This video was recorded this morning as snow levels fell to near 6,000 feet, covering the Little Belt in some wet snow. That snow has since melted, but more could be on the way.
So let's get over now to meteorologist Mike Rollins in the Weather Center. Mike, that video getting a lot of attention on our Facebook page today.
Yeah, absolutely. That snow coming down, making for a beautiful scene. And before you know it, the skiers, the boarders will be hitting the slopes. No snow, though, in Great Falls, and the rain really drying up now as we take a live look outside on the Great Falls iCam. 47 degrees here on the north end of town at KRTV. And yes, still rather wet out there. This temperature is going to be falling quickly in the next few hours as skies clear out and the sun sets. Still some rain moving into Fergus County, Lewistown. You're not done with the rain just yet. And we still have some moderate to heavier rain near Malta right now along 191. That'll be moving into Glasgow in the next hour as well. Our temperatures will be the bigger story tomorrow morning. When you step outside, into the 30s we go. In fact, some of you will be hitting the freezing mark or getting cooler than that. So a freeze likely in some locations tomorrow morning. I'll show you just how low temperatures will go and when to expect more rain to move in. That's coming up in my complete forecast in Storm Tracker weather.
All right, Mike, we'll see you then. Cascade City County Health Department is getting ready for this coming flu season. Last September, Cascade County had the first confirmed case of the flu in Montana. Officials say they're not sure how this season will go, but they want the public to be prepared. The health department wants to remind people to wash hands, cover coughs, and stay home if you're sick. The Cascade City County Health Department will also be holding 2 flu shot clinics at the end of this month.
Our first one is going to be September 22nd. It's from noon to 4:30, and that is our drive-through. It'll be at the fairgrounds again this year. This time, though, there is a little bit of a change. We are just accepting cash, check, credit card, but we will be giving people a form that they can submit to their insurance. We also have a clinic on the 29th, and that is our walk-in, and that's going to be at the exhibition hall from noon until 4:30 as well. That one we will be accepting all payment types.
The drive-through clinic will only be for those 18 years and older, while the walk-in clinic is for those 6 months and older. They'll also be starting to provide flu shots at their location starting on September 30th.
Well, those who have served our country are getting a thank you at the 9th annual Great Falls Stand Down. The opening ceremony will start at 10 and focus on the 22 veterans who are lost to suicide every day. More than 60 vendors will be on site for veterans to be able to ask questions about the different services provided. This year, homeless veterans will be the only people to receive winter gear the stand down receives.
This is the first year we've had it that way. The VA sort of tightened up the rules. There's so many stand downs in the country now. When we started, there was 50 in the country. Now there's over 300. So it's really blown up to help get veterans in and get services that they are entitled to.
The Great Falls Stand Down is tomorrow at the Mercantile Building at the Montana Expo Park. Volunteers will also have a free lunch for veterans who attend the event. The Land and Water Conservation Fund has helped to provide access to public lands and waterways for half a century.
But as MTN's Sanjay Talwani reports, if Congress doesn't act by the end of the month, those funds could dry up.
Fishing access, parcels of land, open space, and wildlife habitat. These have been some of the benefits brought by the Land and Water Conservation Fund. Money from oil and gas drilling to help people hunt, fish, hike, and boat, and more.
In a bigger sense, we all see Montana changing. LWCF is the best tool to address some of that change, to maintain the values that we all see in Montana and that we want to remain. Those conservation values, the outdoor recreation values, wildlife habitat and open space for wildlife to persist and have room to roam.
Because some of these areas are not going to be around for our next generation if we don't address the ability to be able to have access to them today.
It's helped pay for the recent tenderfoot purchase in the Smith River drainage, but it's not just for rural areas.
Often what you see at the local level throughout a state is that it's a lot of parks and pools and playgrounds and things like that.
The fund's been at about $400 million a year, with Montana getting the most per person of any state. Although the law allows up to $900 million in the fund, and there is one plan for doing that.
And for states like Montana, who receive more on a per capita basis than any other, that would be huge.
Senators John Tester and Steve Daines are both looking at a few different ways to keep it alive.
And so it's really critically important over the next couple of weeks that we work together in a bipartisan way.
In Helena, Sanjay Talwani, MTN News.